clay. You will first get a slab of wet clay, and once you have created your base of your toadstool, you will then let that dry, and then once it dries, it will turn to greenware. Greenware is the most fragile state of clay. It can literally crumble, and you can put water back on this and it will just turn back to a nice moist sphere of clay. So to prevent that from disintegrating with water, we are going to put it in the kiln at 2000 degrees for about 24 hours. And that will then evaporate all the water out of your clay. And it will then turn, when you take that out, after it's been fired, it will be bisque. And if I put water on this, it won't disintegrate. It's pretty hard, but it is still breakable. If I were to throw or to drop it on the ground or concrete, it's most definitely going to break. I will tell you, this piece broke into about 25 different pieces, and you can see I've hot glued them all back together. So if yours by chance does go for the big fall, don't worry about it. Usually they break into puzzle pieces and we can just hot glue them back together. So no worries there, hopefully. After you have your bisque, you get your bisque back, then we will then be painting it with a special paint that is heat resistant to withstand high temperature. And it is called glaze. Glaze goes on very chalky before it gets fired. And then once we put it back in the kiln for another 24 hours at a little lower temperature, around 1850, the glaze will then turn into a glass-like coating and provide this nice glossy look to your structure, okay? And that final stage of clay is called glazeware. To make a clay slab, you can pull some clay out of this bucket. Just pull a big chunk of it. Go ahead and pound it, get it kind of all the air bubbles out, and then press it as flat as you can. If you got a bunch of holes in it, you might want to just keep pounding it to get all those air bubbles out. Then you're going to put it under this, on top of this canvas, and sandwich it between the top layer, okay? But you have to get it up towards the roller here. So I want to make sure a little bit's going through. And then I'm gonna unfold it. I'm gonna stick it all the way under here, lay it down, and now I've got it nice and sandwiched. And then I'm gonna come over here to my wheel, and I'm gonna kind of press it through a little bit, let it get caught, and then just press it out. Okay, go forward, lift up, and you should have a nice slab of clay. Once you've put your slab through, go ahead and cut it. And I again use just this wooden skewer. You're gonna make sure you have nice straight lines for the base of your toadstool. Again, on top. You want it to be about about a hand width, the width of your hand high, and about 8 inches long. So if I were to make that into, that's a pretty good size little toadstool, so that will be good. I'm not going to put that down yet. I'm going to go ahead and put texture on it first, and then take it back to my seat and put some windows, doors, and other decor on it. Any extra clay goes back in the black bucket to keep moist. Bring your slab to the back table. Decide what type of texture you want to do. Lay it down. You'll probably have to overlap it a little bit. You want to gently press with a rolling pin. You don't want to press so hard that it flattens out your clay slab, but enough that you get a nice print underneath. I'm not going to worry about doing that because that part I'm going to pinch close, so I should be good to go. Okay, then you're going to take, make sure you're working on a brown piece of paper so your clay doesn't stick to the table, and then take it back to your seat. Back at your seat, you're going to have a variety of tools to choose from in the basket. You have tools for smoothing, tools for making shapes, for windows, and different things. Remember, you will need an opening for your toadstool, and you can, lots of different ways to do openings. You can do like an arch door. You can just do, just create a complete open space there. And here are just some options of different things you can do, okay? These doors are a little bit tricky. I added a hinge here. Sometimes they have a tendency to break off, but if you feel like you can take on that challenge, go for it. One thing about a doorway, if you take out space down below, you want to make sure your structure is solid above wherever your space is so it doesn't collapse. I'm just going to do a simple opening and fold that back, put a little doorknob. This is my favorite tool because I like to cut with it and whatnot. Okay, you can also add different designs and things. I might do some windows. And if you get clay stuck in your punch outs, just go ahead and dig them out. Might put some shutters. Add some molding. This won't hurt it structurally, but it will give it a little texture. And then I might do a little topiary over here. Okay, if you want to add some clay to your side of your house, you always have to scratch and attach. So scratch and attach means, so let's say I wanted to make a little pot. Okay, and I wanted to attach this pot down here. I'm gonna have a little, I'm gonna just scratch. This is a great scratch and attach tool. And you have to scratch both places that you're attaching together. It's like making a little piece of Velcro. Scratch up one side, scratch up the other, and then you're just gonna press down. If you do not do this, any piece you attach to the side of your wall will just break off. And then I like using these different tools. Again, this is my favorite tool. I just like kind of smoothing out and pressing, smashing the sides to make sure they're all nice and sealed. And my piece won't fall off. Once you're done completing the details on the front of your toadstool, you're then going to wrap your toadstool into the shape of a cylinder where you bring both edges together. You're then going to gently pinch those edges together from top to bottom while keeping your toadstool in the shape of a cylinder. Once the seam is pinched together, you're then going to fold it flat down on top of the clay so it completes a nice, smooth, flat edge. Once you've completed the outside, smoothing the outside, you'll then go to the inside of your cylinder and smooth with your fingers. Again, trying not to collapse your cylinder in your hand. You can use tools to smooth those edges, but as long as that seam is sticking together, you should be okay for it staying together once it's put in the kiln. Final step, put it on a Post-it note on the back table on the metal tray. Write your name at the bottom of the Post-it note. So lots of different ideas you can do. Again, important that you don't put something right over the opening of the door, because that will make your structure more solid and less likely to break apart. And you can do as many details all the way through. This one actually did split apart. We had to glue back together. But if that happens to yours, just know we have hot glue available, and we usually can get it to stick somehow. This person didn't really check their pinch pot on top, but they kind of wanted different openings to happen like that. It's more organic looking. And you can have lots of different ideas for as far as petals, openings, doors, windows, and whatnot, depending on how much time. We will eventually be making a gnome out of clay, and we'll be doing that for our last part to complete our toadstools.